call.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGiorno?
Yes.
Councilman Litz?
Yes,
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Phillipsburg?
Yes.
that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Vice President?
2 Delaware River Park, down by the new construction building down on the tracks. There's a gate that's been put there. Looks like an easement to the building. I'm getting a lot of calls on this, nothing that I know, or meetings I missed or workshops. I'd like to know about this gate. Who's it for? Who approved it? Who paid for it? Because that should be formally our gate, I would assume, the whole lining of the property. So I don't know, Mayor, if you see that or if you're...
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with the gate.
Council Vice President. I will, if he's familiar with it, Council President,
Sure.
if you want to ask the mayor.
Mayor, did you authorize the installment of the utility gate?
The gate was an agreement between the fire chief and the owner of the building, Mr. Cotty, and it was for fire safety. It was required. They couldn't get the truck into the railroad property. And Fire Chief Hay just laid down the law, said, get my truck in there. He called in the state fire marshal, and they had to give access.
Usually
So
that
the gate becomes the property of the town.
Usually there's a sign on there that would say for emergency vehicles only and purpose. It's really, from what I understand, not being used for that.
Well, that we can take care of because there is another access. They have access from their, their ticket booth area, not their ticket booth area, but their loading area. Yeah, they have access to the building and they can drive down there. I'll talk to Chief Hay about getting for fire only. So they don't start
It should have came with it. but-
So they don't start using the park as an access. I understand what you're saying. I have the same concern.
Thank you, sir, for answering. Second, Councilman. Yes, second, I'm motioning or requesting a rights notice for the recreation director to come to our next meeting.
Your motion? Is that a motion?
Yes, I'm motioning. I'm also, on the motion, Councilor, I would ask that Council President Fulford recuse himself from seconding or voting on this.
Okay.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any roll call, Rich? Yep. Roll call, Becky?
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGiorno?
Yes.
Councilman Litz?
yes,
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Phillipsburg is abstaining.
I will abstain by request.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay, I just have one thing. We were contacted by the insurance company pertaining to Resolution 2019-169, which was a resolution of Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the educational services of Central New Jersey Cooperative to Weatherproofing Technologies in the amount of $178,516.60. The insurance company's recommendation due to litigation was to rescind this ordinance. Vicki, did they say what the secondary motion was? Will they take it from there? Did we go out to rebid?
We have to get specs done. I believe we need specs written by the engineer.
We can't use the same ones,
Go out.
This is the same company, and
but it would be the same spec as the original, right?
were they done by our engineering firm?
Yeah.
So if they were done by our engineering, they weren't done by our
No,
engineering
I
firm?
don't think Mac prepared the specs. for
So
that.
if they weren't, then they're not.
That
we
was-
don't buy
that's
the
what-
specs.
That's what Stan said at the last meeting in terms of the time.
It's gonna cost a lot of money if we don't. It's gonna cost money if we do.
You're gonna need presumably proposal from Stan to do the specs. And then have the specs done and then get it and then award it.
Mayor, have you discussed this with the insurance company at all?
I'm sorry, what
Uh,
specifically?
This is for the library roof. With regard to the company, we had awarded the bid under recommendation at your request to reward it back to under the New Jersey Cooperative for Weatherproofing Technologies. But according to the insurance company, they're asking us to rescind that.
That is correct. The town clerk and I had this discussion, and the manufacturer of the roof is who held the bond and is ultimately responsible. The manufacturer hired the subcontractor, which basically caused the leaks and the problems that we had. The manufacturer has given us reassurance that they will hire a new subcontractor. Now, the problem with that, and Attorney Winter, I'm nowhere near your expertise, is that should we hire back the manufacturer and we end up in court for the damages, which I guess is over 100,000, town clerk planner, and I'm going to direct this question to Attorney Winter, could they use that against us to say that you hired us again, even though there's a new subcontractor?
Yes. Okay, that's the insurance company's concern, is that the insurance company would like to subrogate, and will be subrogating for the claim, going after the insurance company for the contractor. So that's why they're hesitant to have us award additional work.
So you're
Yes, but
You're
as
informed.
Stan said at the last meeting, the issue is, as it relates to practical matters of the town, you have a roof that's leaking that needs to get done, and pursuing Avenue B, which is bidding the project, not going through the co-op, is going to require the preparation of specifications, going out to bid, and then awarding it, which is going to take time.
Just so we beat the winter months, I will tell you that the subcontractor, at his expense, repaired the children's section, or the 2003 section of the roof, and there's currently no leaks whatsoever, but I'm not going to guarantee there won't be. We can go out to bid. The most important thing, and I'll have to get Stan involved, is that the roofing, the type of roofing, the product, matches the product we put on the older part of the building, the 69 part of the building. We don't want two types of membrane and two types of roof, the way they mend it and glue it. So that's where Stan's going to have to come and get involved and to make sure that that system is the same system on the 2003 section. So Attorney Winter, what advice would you give me to proceed forward with this?
Well, if the councils and if the mayor and council agree that the resolution awarding it should be rescinded, then that should be the first step, and then communicate with Stan. Stan needs to put together a proposal, presumably, for professional services for the design engineering specifications for the bid. So that would have to come, and that would have to be approved. Then Stan could begin the work of doing the specs, and then once the specs are ready, you can put out the bid, wait your 10 days, receive bids, award, and then you're probably gonna have, a couple of weeks or however long. I don't know what the mobilization time is going to be for roofing contractors this time. If they're really busy, it might be a while. I don't know, but you're in a difficult position.
It is. I have to ask if the roofing system that's up there, I have no idea if it's a patented system or not, but that's, what Stan's going to highly recommend we follow. So it could get a little dicey there. Last year, this roof snuck up on us, and we paid the price for it, and so we want to try to get ahead of it. I'll talk to Stan first thing in the morning to see what he can do to get us the spec. So I'm hearing...
If I can make a suggestion there?
Yeah.
I don't know the contract. I know the contractor was directed not to proceed just yet. Is the contractor aware that he's not supposed to proceed?
Yeah, we have not issued any kind of purchase orders pending council.
So if that's the case, then perhaps the council does not need to take action tonight to rescind the resolution, because the contractor's not going to begin the work yet. And in the meantime, we can talk with Stan, find out what his take on the matter is, and if he says, no, it's going to take me 4 months to do anything, then we can have that conversation.
That'd be very helpful.
Without having to issue a
Yeah.
resolution.
Mayor,
All right,
we'll wait
thank you.
then for your recommendation. Sound good?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I have nothing. Moving forward to public positions. This is the time where the public can speak. State your name and address for the record.
Just really quick. Mary Jo Harris from Northwest Hampton, because I'm 3 minutes late. I just want to thank you very much for supporting the project that we did on Saturday. It was a great turnout. We had about 55 volunteers. And I sent you an email so you kind of know all the partners that were there. So I really appreciate your support in that. I just wanted to clarify something and go on the record as saying that town council had nothing to do with delaying or postponing the skate park project. That was a decision I made as a project coordinator. There had been a little bit of chatter prior to Saturday, and I just felt it was not a comfortable situation to say, there's some things going on out there, so let's just postpone the skate park project. My God, I'm freezing.
You know my jacket.
Oh, God, I'm leaving right after I get finished here. So I just wanted to set the record straight, because I think the town council, I know that there was some things on Facebook, not a big Facebook person, but it was brought to my attention that town council was getting blamed for the skate park. With that being said, the purpose of the project was to clean things up so that if things are out of place, that it will be noticed. So I do know that on one of the Facebook chat rooms or whatever they're called, someone commented that the skate park was cleaned and it was a shame that it was tagged, because it was tagged again. The concession building that was painted, it was tagged. Spoke with Lieutenant Franciscino. We've kind of tracked down who we think did it, and we would like to have a conversation with that artist, because that person also did a beautiful mural on the wall down there at some point. So we'd like to have a conversation with this artist to see, hey, let's see what you can do, and maybe we can do a better picture than what's been down there, because what he created on this wall is not what's tagged on the skate park. If you go down, I guess there's a brick, cement wall that's down there. If you look on the other side, it's really a beautiful piece of art. What's on the skate park is not. So we're gonna have a conversation, if we can, with them and move forward with that. So, thank you.
Go get one.
Oh, my teeth are chattering.
Is there anyone else? Your name and address for the record, please.
Dan Boyce, 244 Irwin. You asked for this.
Very good.
I'm bringing up about the enforcement again. As I started to say, I was tagged. I don't know why. I'm taking it as hostile, taking it as harassment. I want it on record. I don't want an inspector on my property again. Okay, I'm going to consider it trespassing. There's nothing wrong. I sent you the pictures you showed me. And you know, I'm taking into consideration everything else. While I'm being tagged 250 feet away from Town Hall, there's a pile of garbage. While I'm being tagged, no, let me ask you, why is the building housing Teddy's restaurant still in functioning? While I'm being tagged, there's kids being bitten by bed bugs because there's no enforcement. There's a business that was ran out of there because 6 feet away from the door are garbage cans that were rat and mice infested. That's the only spot in that whole block where garbage is collected in the front of the building. One spot. The garbage men have to go up there just to collect one place. Why can't it go in the back? Where's the enforcement? Councilwoman DeGirolamo brought up about the bulk garbage being picked up. It's a law when people are evicted. A landlord has to keep their belongings in storage for 30 days. Why isn't that being enforced? You could probably eliminate a lot of the garbage. When people are evicted and they leave 30 days, they have, then it can be discarded. These landlords aren't waiting 30 days. They're waiting maybe 30 minutes.
Council President, may I answer Mr. Boyce's questions?
If you want to.
The garbage cans caught my attention right away. You know, there's patrons coming in, the odor, the vermin, everything else. I went out and bought 2 garbage cans, put them there, and I moved them to the other side of that little wrought iron fence.
That fenced-in gate?
Yeah. Next day I come back, someone moved them back again. So I stop and get out and I move them back over. You know, this has become quite a game. I found out it was moving them back over, and then I made the request to the owner, and I wanted the garbage cans taken or put in the back of the building where the restaurant put the garbage cans, and also where Jimmy Piazza and the other companies put the garbage cans. And the answer I got is that they couldn't force the tenants, which, you know, I didn't accept, to walk down Main Street, there was no back door, around the bank and put it in the alley. They wouldn't do it. And of course, unacceptable. But we did what we could to get it in the back. And it's about the landlord and forcing them to put their garbage in the back. I gotta pull my garbage out in the street, you know, it's about the same distance.
Okay.
Yeah. And so,
Puff your chest out a little bit.
yeah, we, you know, it was a cooperative effort, but you know, I guess you must know the conflict and confrontation that existed between the third floor and the second floor and the owner of the building, and then eventually the first floor.
I've heard things.
Yeah.
I know that the owner of the restaurant even offered the tenants to use his dumpster, and they didn't want to.
They didn't want to go around back. You're
I mean,
absolutely right.
like you said, if you have a long driveway and you have to take your garbage down there, you have to take it down there.
Yeah,
The garbage men aren't going to walk up your driveway to get it, so
we wear holes in our plastic cans right in the
Then-
driveway.
close the building
Yeah,
up.
and those 2 garbage cans are still there. I saw them the other day. I'll do what I can to, Council President, I'll do what I can to put some pressure on the building owner, but as you know, I have no control over him. The Department of Health was called in for the bed bugs, and he was summoned.
Okay. Like I said, while I'm being noticed, there's Teddy's restaurant, or the building, second and third floor, there's no child guards in the windows.
No, there's more to it than that.
Okay, and that's not the only one. I'm talking about the inspectors. If they're not doing their job, maybe it's time to replace them.
This became a big county health department issue. And it took a lot of, how can I say it, effort to get them to react. And they finally reacted. By that time, Nico was gone.
What is wrong with people that, you said that the county didn't want to react or didn't want to investigate?
They were very hesitant to summons, I don't know why.
Why are people with government jobs so lazy?
I couldn't answer that.
Mr. Boyce, I can't allow that comment. You have reached your 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else?
A while. So Dustin Pierce, 111 Secretary Street. Forget where I live sometimes. So some happier things. I love the renovations being done on 22. The whole new landscape with the new Burger King and the new McDonald's going in. So that's kind of like exciting. I think some changes. A while ago, when we were at the middle school, it was brought up that habitability hearings may be moved to the end of the agenda to kind of force the landlords to sit through what goes on in our council meetings. And I think it might be time that we do that. Because then we could have gotten through a lot of this agenda in the beginning part, or even set up a separate meeting for habitability hearings, just for them that are public meetings, because I think they really need a dedicated time for themselves, especially sometimes they go long. Another question is, on Sigrave Street, there was this new light put in on the pole, and it lights up like half of the block now. Don't know where it came from. It wasn't there when we moved there, but it just appeared out of nowhere, and now it's on, and it's attached to like the light pole, not the light pole, but the telephone pole, and it just shines down the block. So I didn't know if it had to do with like the camera that went in or what, but it kind of lights up like the whole block.
Council President, I'd have to check into it. I don't.
Okay. Yeah,
Square
I
light,
think so.
rectangular light?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just
know what you're
mounted.
talking about.
Yeah,
I'll check into it.
And then like in the beginning, it didn't go on all the time, it just like flashed every so often, and now it's just on all the time. So, thought I'd bring that. Also, Open Space Commission, we keep paying every year into this commission. Are we gonna appoint a board to this commission sometime soon?
We are. The mayor has chosen his appointments. Council is currently vetting theirs. We had 2 people back out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we will. Hopefully, we're capable of having 2 more people by next week, so.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Mayor, you'll take a look at that light?
Yeah, I was just, I think I know what's going on. I don't think it's a JCPenney light. I think it's a private situation.
Okay.
Well, but they're not allowed to do that.
No, that's interesting.
I'll check into it for you.
Is there anyone else? Okay, there's seeing none, we will move forward to council open time. Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Council President Volper. I just want to start off by saying thank you to the council board for helping me through this. You only get to do this your first time once, so thank you all for being so helpful with engaging me through this and helping me understand the process and everything. I know I've been coming to these meetings a long time, but it's vastly different to sit up here and really make these hard decisions. And thank you to everyone in the audience for being so civil and going with the forum. I only have one question, just for my own understanding because I'm so new to this. And let me know if this is the appropriate time to do it. Regarding the youth sports teams for town in Steel Hill, I know there's like an issue with insurance with the town insuring them. To my understanding, for a long number of years, the town has been insuring these teams, but then out of the blue, our insurance company told us that this is no longer possible. I was just confused. Did we ever get an explanation of why for so long it's been all right, and now all of a sudden it's not?
Actually ended in 2014.
2014?
I'll defer to Council Winter because he's been dealing directly with the insurance companies on behalf of the town.
Okay.
The only thing I do know is that I attended a meeting when Mayor Wyatt was in office and had extended the insurance to the youth organizations. I don't know if they were covered under the town's umbrella prior to that, or if the town had required they purchase their own insurance. Maybe that's something the council can answer, but I know that the resolution was never renewed in 2015, and subsequent, therefore, it's not the mayor's fault, it's not council's fault, this was an insurance company decision, so.
Yeah, no, and this is not about blame or anything.
Oh, no,
I'm just trying to understand the situation.
Sure. So in 2014, statewide insurance came to the town and brought up the youth organizations being covered under the town's policy. And at that point, statewide took the position that the youth organizations were not public entities or a local unit as defined in the local public contracts law. And as such, they could not benefit from the statewide insurance fund, from the joint insurance from the JIF, absent being under the control of the town. 2014, the town adopted a resolution to, in part, assume some measure of control of the youth organizations. The insurance company let it go at that, or statewide let it go at that point, and the implementation of that control was never consummated. So in 2019, apparently about a month ago, I don't know if we're doing renewals or up, or what prompted for statewide to realize that there was no measure of control as statewide envisioned it being exerted over the youth organizations, and that the youth organizations were still operating as 501c3 nonprofit entities, and were still not local units as defined under the local contracts law, and took the position, as they did in 2014, that the youth organizations either cede control to the town of their operations and get the benefit of insurance coverage, or don't, but they would not get the benefit of the insurance coverage. So that's where we're at today.
Got it. So underneath the current circumstances, there's no legal way for the town to provide health coverage to these private organizations as 501c3s. Just insurance.
Right, so the town cannot extend its coverage to the youth organizations. And it's not a town decision, it's a insurance company decision, absent the youth organizations coming under the control of the town. However, there is a debate as to whether the town can help defray the costs of insurance which is purchased by the youth organizations. In other words, youth organizations go out and procure their own insurance, and the town could potentially offset those costs by way of a stipend. So that is an area that's more in the gray, which.
So a reimbursement kind of thing?
Correct. I like living in the gray. So, but ultimately, so I think you could color it in such a way. I reached out to our auditor candidly punted, and I have been in contact with the CFO to get clarification from the state as to whether a reimbursement / stipend could be enacted by the council.
All right, thank you so much for the clarification. That's it for me.
Councilwoman.
A couple things. I did want to thank Mary Jo for organizing. It was a very nice event. I was happy to bring home what I felt to be a collector's item that I dug up. I got a collector A-tree bottle that they just don't make anymore. So that made it worth it for me. I had a little bit of history to bring home. Also, there were a couple extra events I wanted to bring up. One was also at Warren County Governing. If anyone, the county is looking to recognize veterans. So if anyone knows a veteran that has not previously been recognized by the county, I have an application form that the county has. So they are looking for veterans looking to be recognized by the county. So I will make that announcement and put something out about that. As well as the second roundtable was held for the Envision Center in Newark. It was attended by Phillipsburg Housing Authority as well as their partner, Yvette Day, who's partnered up on that program. So the largest discussion was around the Envision Center and working together to develop jobs through the Opportunity Zone. So there should be more information on that at the next meeting. We are waiting on an announcement from the Housing Authority. So once they are ready to release that information, we will disclose it. And a couple other events. Don't forget to sign up for the Halloween parade. Everybody, you can contact the chamber for that. As well as I was at the Board of Ed meeting, there's going to be a trunk or treat event that they approved immediately after the parade. That is going to be for preschool through grade 5 up at the high school immediately after. So that event, if you're going to the parade, take the kids up to grade 5 over for a trunk or treat. The event is free. And there will also be a coalition is sponsoring a teen summit for Break the Stigma at the high school October 30th. And that is also at no cost. It is a countywide event for grades 9 through 12. But I'm sure they would appreciate it. We did pass the initiative. I don't think I will be able to be there due to the time, but I think that was the only other announcement. And Ray Pat, you did not announce the second overtime, the 2 overtime victory.
I forgot to announce that.
Good grief. How did you not announce the high school victory last week?
We did play that overtime. We are at $6.99.
I know, so this Friday will be win number 700 if they
So
win.
if anybody wants to come on up, come on home. If you want, we all know probably parade around downtown.
I got your back, Ray.
I forgot all about it.
All right, that's all and Councilman Lutz.
When is the stigma event?
Oh, it's right here. And Councilman Lutz, I need to make you some cookies. I owe them to you, so I'll call you. You tell me which ones you like best at Christmas. I'll bring them down. That's it.
And she called me and everything is hilarious.
I'll call you, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Lutz, you're open then.
Yes, I have a couple of things. what is the energy company that you signed for JCP now? Do you know? I forget.
Concord. Concord?
Did that take over the bills?
Yes, unless you opt out.
Okay, is there any way that we can rescind that resolution?
They
I
were,
have so many people complaining about the company, and it's not really working for the average people.
sure.
So, Councilman, what's the contract that the town entered into as part of the cooperative runs through the end of 2020. And
Okay,
but I think the more important point that people need to understand is that any resident can opt out at any time. It's not, so if you opted in or didn't opt in, if you didn't opt out and you found yourself paying for buying electricity from a third-party provider and you're unhappy with that provider's services, you can opt out at any time without any penalty. And
well, they told a lot of people they had until the 10th of this month, or 15th, to opt out.
no, you can opt.
They're telling these people that they have to opt out by a certain time, like you can't get it and tomorrow you can opt out, or a month from now you can opt out. They're saying you have a certain time to opt out, which is not right.
That does not sound accurate. I'm not saying that they're not being told that, but if they are being told that, then that's wrong. It's a 30-day window. So you provide your notice of opt-out, and then it doesn't take effect for 30 days for a billing cycle. But I circulated, I think, to the mayor and members of council, I think I circulated that information. And perhaps a public service announcement from the town to inform the public. I'm sure that representatives from the cooperative would be happy to educate the residents on how they can in fact.
Right, so they did have it at the senior center a couple of days, but you know and I know the older generation cannot calculate or cannot make a big change. They don't like that stuff. So I had a lot of people at the senior center when I was there complaining about that, so that's why I brought this up. So they have 30 days to opt out.
No,
Any time.
Correct. Anytime it takes 30 days, correct.
Okay, something another quick. Start on a cleaner. How are we making it with start on a cleaner?
You mean the old building?
Right. The old start on a cleaner building.
It looks horrible. It's horrible.
Is anything being done with that?
It's horrible. The night before the recreation meeting, I went over and took a look inside. I didn't go in the building. I just looked through the windows before I get blamed for something else on Facebook. It is packed with garbage. I don't know if it's being used as a warehouse for garbage, but that's exactly what it looks like that's in it. So, I mean, Mark, I'm sorry, Councilman. A habitability hearing,